Hey guys, thanks for checking out my latest video. Hey peeps, here I'm going to look at some of the real ballers of DraftKings Reignmakers. I was looking at the rare deep contest this week, which only has 1,380 entrants, pays 3,000 first prize. I noticed one guy had like 22 entrants at least, and he had a bunch with like Kyler Murray, Kamara, some with Hopkins locked in already. So I pulled up his account, but that led me down a rabbit hole of finding some really big whales. So this guy's name is Chrono Man. He spent like 120,000, not including packs, but he really focuses a lot on the rares. He owns 2,100 cards. He focuses on the rares. About 1,200 rares. This doesn't include packs, but like if you put in Kyler Murray, so he's got 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 17 Kyler Murrays, 1 elite, 4 rares, and a whole bunch of commons. He does a lot with commons and with cores and rares. So that's a little unusual, that amount of rares for compared to some of the other guys that I'm going to move on to. That he has 2,000 or he has 1,200 rares. Okay, so then looking at these are some of the bigger ones as we go up. And these are guys I just noticed who entered multiple times on the high levels, not necessarily that have won tournaments, but Grinders Cal did actually win the Reignmakers Alpha this week for 25,000, but he had at least 14 entries into that. So as opposed to the last guy who had 2,000 cards, he has 600, but he spent more money, so he's obviously focusing in on the highest level cards. Now that Reignmaker contest, for example, only had 200 entrants last week. It pays $25,000 first prize. So just being in it, you have a 1 in 200 chance, but he has 14 entries in it of winning the 25,000, at least 14. He owns 43 Reignmakers, $200,000 spend. He primarily has spent, I think, a lot on legendaries as well. Yeah, 100,000 of it legendaries, and so he's really concentrated. 43 there, and on the elites, 97 there. So you can see he's very concentrated in the upper levels. Sometimes these numbers don't seem to quite add up. It looks like he's also been a good marketplace buyer, but of course this also doesn't include packs. If you look at his most valuable, he's got a Mahomes Reignmaker, a Saquon Reignmaker, Andrews Reignmaker, Jonathan Taylor, Chase, Herbert. So Reignmakers are they're all one of ones, but there's generally 1, 2, or 3 that exist period currently as far as I know, and they have carryovers to next season and other bonuses. So a lot of these people are sort of people betting on the future of Reignmakers. They've staked a lot of money into it and think there's going to be a future in it. Mixon, Reignmaker, Stafford, Kamara, St. Brown. I mean, just this guy's Reignmakers alone, you could build like really good lineups. His Reignmakers and legendaries, obviously, which he has. But he's not even, so he's $200,000 marketplace spend. Moving up the ladder, Jay Seal, $300,000 marketplace spend. And he actually focuses more on the elites, I would say. So he spent over half his on elites and owns a boatload of elites, 370. So you could see like 2 Allen, 1 Hurts, 3 Mahomes, 4 Herberts, 1 Brady, 4 Burrow, 10 Cups, 7 Murrays, 3 Staffords, 3 Barkleys, 3 Ecklers, 3 Diggs, 1 Daniel Jones, 2 McCaffrey on down, Jefferson, Kelsey. So you can make some really nice lineups with that. But the first guy sort of focused on rares. The second guy on legendary Reignmaker, more Reignmaker, I would say. No, more legendary. And then this guy, a little bit more elite focused. His marketplace buys don't look quite as good, but it's hard to say. Also with packs and everything. And I don't know what these people have won on the year. They're certainly setting themselves up. Moving up the ladder again, 333,000. He owns 1,800 cards. So the last guy only owns 600 cards for about the same amount of money. So he's spreading it out a lot wider. And I believe he's got a ton of legendaries. Let me see. He's got 228 legendaries. 2 Hurts, Mahomes, Herbert, Burrow, Murray, Stafford, Rodgers, 3 Saquons, Cousins, Jones, Garoppolo, Jefferson, Carr, Debo, Dak. You know, and with these upper levels contests, they can use these on the lower levels, but also you only need 2 of these plus 3 elite to enter the contest. Just pretty monstrous stuff. Let's see how many Reignmakers he has. He's got 87 Reignmakers. A Josh Allen, a Diggs, 2 Daniel Jones, McCaffrey, Carr, Debo, Chase, Kamara, Ramondre, 2 Zekes, Mike Williams, Kenneth Walker, Pittman, Singletary, on down and down. Let me see here. Let's see what the so he paid $16,000 for that Josh Allen, but he paid $7,000 for that Diggs, and that's showing it's worth a lot more than that. So between the legendary and the legendary and the Reignmaker is a lot where his spending went. I don't really know where the 1,000 other cards are. Sometimes the total doesn't seem to match up on some of these. Let's see how many elites. 300 elites. $470 rares. You just think, you know, it only takes 5 cards to make a lineup. How many lineups these people can make? 700 cores. So a lot of it's probably from packs and trading and whatnot. The 1,800, sometimes the numbers don't seem to always add up right. But moving up the ladder, Shalhoub, 23, or Shalhoub, $400,000 spent. Doesn't look great return on those, but he's got 1,800 cards. He's got a boatload of legendary. He's got 170 legendaries alone. And you only need 3 of these and 2 elites to make a good lineup. So let's see. Oh, it's the remaining projection. So he's got a Hurts, a Mahomes, 2 Jackson, a Brady, a Burrow, a Kupp, a Murray, a Barkley, Eckler. So he has like kind of 1 or 2 of each one. That's sort of what I would do, just to diversify yourself. 3 mix-ins. That way you have a variety of stuff going. It doesn't all pin it on one player. He looks like he's got 1 or 2 of almost every good player there is, just on the legendary level. He spent so like 200,000 of the 400 for him was spent on the legendary level. He also has spent 100. So his is all primarily on. I mean, the spend is on the legendary and Reignmaker. Reignmaker, Stafford, Rodgers, Mixon, Henry, Ryan, Chubb, Godwin, Goff, Montgomery, Waddle, Wilson. And so these don't look like that one's from a pack. I don't know. I forgot how much the packs cost, but I feel like those are money losers. Getting those 2 cards. But that's the luck of the packs. Aaron Donald. You know, and these aren't even available. Like most of these aren't even for sale. There's not even one. You know, I mean, he's got the one basically. They have a tight control of the supply at these upper levels. Same thing with the legendary because there's so few of them. Floor prices, I mean, to get in now you have to pay up. But overall they show his marketplace trading has been decent, not great, like slightly losing. The other one's big time profit. This guy's been a good trader. I don't know what his pack spends are, but according to this, he's been a good trader. This guy, meh. This guy, really good. This guy, about meh. And then we go on to, so that's a $400,000 marketplace spender. Then this one guy, Steel City Hall, sort of an anarchy type name, but maybe he did steal from City Hall, or like the government steals from us, because he spent almost 500 grand. But it's only that's such a small amount of cards. So it's really on the Rainmaker and Legendary here. Spent 200,000 on Rainmakers. He owns like Herbert, Cup, Barkley, Jefferson, Depot, Chase, Mixon. I mean, these are one of ones, basically one of two or threes that exist, period. Then onto the, so there's sort of a different approach because some of these guys own like 1,500 cards, some own like 500. 244 legendaries. Those look like he's been more profitable, but the Rainmaker calculations, in general, these calculations can be off because there is no market for the Rainmakers in general because they own it and they don't want to sell it. I mean, he's got sick portfolio. There's not an easy way to see. Let me see. Like, so this guy here, they're showing that he's spent 300,000. The floor price on his cards is 700,000, but he owns a ton of cards. I believe he is focused on. Well, I think he spent a lot of it on Rainmakers, but yeah, he spent 200,000 of the 300 on Rainmakers. Derek Carr out of a pack. Deontay Johnson out of a pack. McLaurin out of a pack. Let me see. It's hard to know what some of these numbers, their estimated values, I don't necessarily put stock in. So here on the Legendary, it's looking like he has done really well, but it's hard to say with the packs too. But let's see. Yeah, like here, he bought a Hertz for 3,500. Currently, the cheapest one is 5,000. He bought one for 2,800, 5,000. There's no Mahomes in that one for sale. He got a Saquon out of a pack. He bought a Saquon for 2,500. That's 44. So I mean, this dude has been astute in his timing of his buys. Maybe he bought them early, but some prices, you know, he bought a Burrow for 2,500. The cheapest one is 8,000. Pack. He spent a lot on packs, so who knows? He pulled a Dak from a pack, a Herbert, a Debo, two Kylers. Wow, a Carr, a Rodgers. So if he bought all those, then I mean he's got 228 legendaries. So I'm sure he had some. Yeah, he had some bad pack buys, obviously. Van Jefferson, Albert O. But for at least what it shows on the actual marketplace purchases versus floor, just on legendary, he's done really, really well. Like I said, take some of these with a grain of salt because we don't really know exactly all that's involved. Let's look at another one of the guys that shows, like Grinders Cal shows he's he's made good marketplace buys. I think he spent like half of his on legendaries. So he bought that for 3. The low floor is 5,000. He got a Allen from a pack, a Mahomes from a pack, a Cup from a pack, a Henry from a pack, a Diggs. So he's spent a lot on packs. Because if you're getting that many good packs, then you're going to have some losers. Let's see. That looks like a nice one. Bought an Eckler there. Let's go to this guy with all the rares. So he's not doing a ton of flipping or not doing great on his flipping, but he's got a ton of entries. I mean, 22 entries into the Rainmakers Rare, which is the one I was looking at, the deep. Just at least 22. And 25. He's got 40. He's got 40 entries. I think that's the max. Now you're allowed to have up to 100. He's got 40 entries into the rare deep one. So that requires 9 players. And he has a bunch where like Murray's going already. That's how I noticed it. I was like, man, this guy, it's just like a real DFS, basically. Like he put 1 player in or 2 players in just for this game and didn't even, I don't know, who knows how many he has on the showdown. So he's a big player in the rare level. Just to do the lineups for that many, think of the time, I mean, and that mental energy, because it takes me time and mental energy and just their system. I bet he would I bet a lot of these guys wish they would improve the way of uploading lineups similar to how they have it in DFS. But let's see. Pack, 200, 150. Yeah, so he's sort of paid. I don't know when he's been buying these. That one he, oh, because the field pass. So he bought, it looks like he bought a lot of these earlier when the rares were really high, probably right at the beginning of the season. And he's sort of playing off it since then. He should be hitting this deep. I mean, I don't know what he's cashed already. I assume all these guys have cashed good amounts, but whether they've gotten all their money back is the question. And to some degree, that hitting that elite is the one that they really need to all be focusing on, because that's the one that has a $100,000 payout, and even that one only has that only had, how many entries did that have last week? Let me see. Well, okay, so that only had 2,100 entries, and it pays $100,000. So that's the one to be going for if you're a baller. And I'm sure they all are. Like, so he has 274 elites, 3 Josh Allens, et cetera, et cetera. Let me just look at these other guys' elites real fast. And of course, these other guys can play their legendaries and Reignmakers in the elite if they want to as well. So he's got 1 Josh Allen, 3 Hurts. He's got 2 Josh Allen, 1 Hurts, 3 Mahomes. But of course, like I said, these guys have them on levels above that as well. But he's got 2 Hurts, 3 Mahomes. And there's only so many of these around. There's only like less than 200, 300 of elites. And then there's only like 20, 30, whatever of the legendaries. He's got 2 Allen, 2 Hurts, 2 Mahomes. Well, he looks pretty set for the elites there. And then the biggest spender, so he, like, obviously he already has 2 legendary Hurts, but just take a quick look on the elites. So he doesn't have any, his Hurts are on the upper level. He has 1 Allen. So you can see what some of the biggest whales spent. I don't know if these are the biggest, but they're among the biggest, especially these guys that have spent over 400, 300,000, just on the marketplace, not on packs. Anyway, it's like you might find it interesting. All the information is from luckytrader.com. Hopefully their information is semi-correct. All right, have a good one, guys.